Dear brothers, good morning, guys. This is going to be a two-part series with the second part coming out sometime next week. And we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics and probably one of the most important things in my life, and something that we all need to take seriously, in my humbled opinion. So let's get rolling. I am going to crash land a nuke on the idea of not having enough time in our lives in future episodes, because I think it's a ridiculous notion to think that we do not have enough time. And personally, I think we don't have the right priorities. It's got nothing to do with how much time we have. We all have the exact same amount, and people accomplish quite a lot. But really, it comes down to we suck at making priorities. So for starters, maybe get off social media and just stop scrolling uncontrollably. Great place to get going. Anyways, I digress away from a rant I don't need to get into right now. But what I do want to get into today with all of you is the absolute number one thing you cannot leave out of your life if you wish to actually improve it. An avenue, by my own admittance, that is difficult and can create some feelings of uneasiness and even shame, but it is also the thing that creates an unimaginable amount of gratefulness, joy, and transformation. So, one of my favorite books is called How to Live on 24 Hours a Day by Arnold Bennett. And he has this term that he calls the reflective mood. So, in that book, he writes this: I am entirely convinced that what is more than anything else lacking in the life of the average, well-intentioned man of today is the reflective mood. We do not reflect. I mean that we do not reflect upon genuinely important things, upon the problem of our happiness, upon the main direction in which we are going, upon what life is giving to us, upon the share which reason has or has not in deterring our actions, and upon the relation between our principles and our conduct. I suppose that you will not have the audacity to deny this, and if you admit it, and still devote no part of your day to the deliberate consideration of your reason, principles, and conduct, you admit also that you are regularly leaving undone the one act which is necessary to the attainment of that thing. End quote. That was a long one, I know, but man, is it good. When is the last time any of you took 5 minutes and thought about your day? Reviewed what you had accomplished or didn't accomplish? Examined the interactions that you had, how you acted around other people, how you acted in business or with your wife or with your kids? Considered if the things that you did align with your values, with what you believe? The answer to that above question is either rarely or never for most men. Most of us will say that we don't have time to sit down, to write, or to look in the mirror and reflect on who we are and what we've done. It's not a priority, and it gets shoved into a corner, which is kind of a head-scratching idea or sentiment, because every self-help, psychology, or business book in the world discusses how vital it is to write down your ideas and goals, record situations, analyze how you're doing well and what you're not doing well. More than this, just look at the examples of all the great men in history and of today. All of them, almost daily, are reflecting on their lives. It's a non-negotiable. So why are so few modern men doing this? It's certainly not because we don't see reflection as being important. I'll give you an example. Most of you in your business lives will always be trying to make changes and making yourself better or improve your company's output or whatever you're looking to do. So you make an assessment of some kind, create a plan of action to attack that, implement it, and then you're tracking the progress. Did we do well? Did we not do well? And what do we need to change? Most companies that you guys all work for or own have mission statements or guides, which ensures that you guys have something to follow when things are going well or not going so well. We're very eager to apply reason and logic to those situations with our jobs and understand what we can do better or, continue improving on. But why are we ignoring this in our personal lives? The easiest answer to that is that we don't see examining our life as a priority. However, I think it's a little deeper than that. I think it's because to examine our life and to put yourself under the microscope is to actually expose the flaws that you have. To truly reflect upon your conduct and your current state of being means that you have to wrestle with your imperfection. Your ego has to take a shot in the gut and be put aside, and you have to take that mask of like hubris you wear off to see that we are not getting the joy we actually want. Maybe the hardest aspect of all of this is understanding that we're responsible for all of these flaws. It is far easier to maintain the status quo of a mediocre life than to face the mirror of reflection and see the lesions which cover our bodies. We cover this up with booze and excuses and faux manliness, pointing the finger at others, acting the victim, being promiscuous. But I think, fellas, it's not that you don't see reflection as important. I think it's that we are all, including myself, averse to seeing the damage that exists in our own character. That was me for many years. I didn't like putting my life under the microscope. I liked letting people see the facade on Instagram or from a distance. I loved that lack of responsibility. I didn't want to open myself up to the infirmness, if you will, of my own soul. It was easier to fake it and push it under the rug than to face it. Now, does this mean that all of us that aren't reflecting are bad men, selfish men, immoral pieces of crap? Usually no, although there's always exceptions to that rule. Most men really do mean well. They want to be good men. They want to help. They want to contribute to society. They want to provide for their families and be good friends and embrace their communities. They don't want to be controlled by their dark desires. They want a good life. However, those wants, those beautiful aspects of living require payment, not in money, but of honest reflection. You're never going to find peace and joy and meaning if you are avoidant of your own personal flaws. You shackle yourself by the inability to stare these issues down. If your life is not where you want it to be, yet you decline to put it in front of the jury of your soul, to be scrutinized, to be looked at, to be analyzed, you're going to remain where you are. You cannot change that which you refuse to examine. All of us are flawed. It is what makes us human. We all have inclinations towards the foul things in life. We have all lied, we have cheated, we have stolen, we've acted fake, and committed a treasure trove of other sins. The issue here is not that we're falling short of excellence. That's a guarantee. None of us are perfect. It's in the fact that we're so reluctant to take an audit of our life and face our demons. Guys, start putting all of these thoughts on paper, even if it's only a couple of days a week. Literally write down how you think you are doing. Write down what you think your flaws are. Examine in writing where your life is. What situations you think defined you that day or that week. Putting pen to the pad is one of the greatest gifts this world could have ever given us. Utilize it. I have been journaling every day for years now. And beyond, daily prayer time, it's the most important thing that I do. I really couldn't live without it. For those of you that are willing to say, yes, my conduct does not match my life's goal, you're going to find yourself on a higher plane. You have taken the first step towards changing your life for the better, and you've accepted that you have flaws, and they need to be addressed. You take that inner devil, that inner serpent by the throat, the one who's feeding you all this bullshit that you're not responsible for your difficulties, and that you don't need to change anything, and you're a victim. When you accept your stance and look at your faults, that evil little piece of crap loses all of his power. When your reflection turns to action, you strip the slithering tongue of its poisonous fire. You crush his head then and there. The first part of reflection is assessing if your conduct matches your aspirations. Did you fall short of those expectations, what you wanted to accomplish? When that answer is yes, and you're willing to face it with dignity, you've stepped into the arena. You have taken the first step to fighting your demons. Now, go watch those motherfuckers tremble. Whew, fired up this morning. God bless, be strong. Let's get after it on a Friday, boys.